Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am excited to be here as always to read with you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year, by the way. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope the new year has been great to you, as you all know. And if you're new here, my name is Titi, and here we just, you know, as priestesses, we just, come together and read and, just learn things to help us continue to grow and to accept a part of ourselves. Now, last week, hold on, please. Let me try and put this well. I hope you guys can see. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to put that right. So last week we stopped at acknowledging trauma. And by the way, for those of you who are new here, we just read a few pages, and once we're done, we have put out some oracle cards, and I just go ahead and read out the oracle cards to you. So let's get started. I'm excited to read. And as always, I always promise you guys that I'm not going to read without you guys. So I haven't read it. So let's go. All right, the trauma of social expectation. By the way, we are reading The Way of the Priestess by Sarah Coxon. I really like the book, and I promise you, I always say this. I know you guys are tired. I do not know Sarah. Sarah does not know me. I'm not getting paid for this. I just think this is a beautiful piece that should not be kept to myself, but to also share with um, other people. So why not? All right. The trauma of social expectation. There is an even subtler form of trauma that we face as women. I call it trauma of social expectation. The list of shoulds that our society has bestowed upon its women is extensive. Each should is like another stick with which to beat ourselves up. And each of us has collected so many sticks we could open a museum. That's so funny. But it's true though. Every woman I have ever worked with has come to me experiencing some form of anxiety, depression, rage, lack of motivation, or burnout. All of these are classic symptoms of a woman who is living a way of life that is out of alignment with who she truly is. Within every woman, there is an internal blueprint made up of our passions, talent, gifts, and desires. Like the seed of a wildflower, the blueprint is a code showing us how we are designed to grow and what we are designed to become. Yet, our society despises wildflowers. It calls them weeds and teaches us to pull them up from the earth. And in their place, we are encouraged to cultivate more suitable plants. But we are wildflowers. This is our nature. And the thing about wildflowers is that you can control them or suppress them. They are what they are, and they are meant to grow. For many of us, the external pressure we experience growing up is too much. As a result, our nervous system go into overdrive to try and keep us safe from rejection. One of the most common trauma response I witness in the women I work with is perfectionism. Perfectionism is sneaky because it's so alluring. We want to be perfect, don't we? We want to get everything right the first time so that we can please others and avoid the sense of shame that are inevitably comes if we fail or say or do the wrong thing. To the perfectionist, nothing is worse than messing up. We raise the bar so high for ourselves, but then we beat ourselves up for failing to meet our expectations. As a result, we respond in one or two ways. We either procrastinate and put off taking the necessary action to move us closer to our goals, or we overwork, spending endless hours on a project and never feeling like it's good enough. We may, especially for the later, believe that this is a good thing because it means we are conscientious and responsible. But this is yet another illusion because all we are doing is robbing ourselves of the in the moment joy that can only come when we are focused on the process rather than the outcome. Perfectionism is the hallmark of good girl conditioning. When we start to recognize how it shows up in our lives and losing its grip on us, we pave the way for liberation. A woman who is able to dance with her imperfections and let go of the need to get it right all the time is a woman who has disentangled herself from a social narrative that has been keeping women captive for centuries. The power of the priestess client spotlight. Jennifer is Jennifer, a smart and accomplished woman for from the USA with flowing brown hair and golden skin, was no stranger to perfectionism, but she had no idea how much it was robbing her of feeling joy. With her focus set on trying to prove herself, she found herself never quite meeting the expectations she had of herself. This meant that she also had high expectations of others, standards that they also could never quite reach. All in all, she felt frustrated with life. Her need to control was getting in the way of her enjoying her life. Guys, this is so real, okay? I used to be this way. I literally used to be this way, trying to make everything so perfect. But you know what? The second part of trying of like, putting my energy in something because I need it to be perfect, and then I keep wasting time on just one thing because I need to be perfect. I keep wasting my time, and then you just find yourself literally doing one thing for a long time, something that's already okay, but just because you're so into being perfect, you don't even see that it's okay, and it's a stealer of time, resources, even your happiness because you don't even feel fulfilled. And it took me like a while to get out of that energy. All right, let's go. As soon as we started working together in one of my group mentoring programs, she messaged me to tell me that she was already beginning to feel a shift. As the weeks went on, she realized how necessary it was to let go of expectations she had of herself. This wasn't easy, but she knew it was crucial. Her intention to do this sparked a wave of inner transformation. Not only did she find herself creating more space for herself, she noticed the relationships with others were deepening because she was allowing them to simply be themselves. Loosening up the pressure she'd always put on herself and others allowed her to experience what she had wanted all along: deeper connection and belonging. All right. Reclaiming our wildness. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes that the manual she was handed about what she's supposed to want, what she's supposed to be, and how she's supposed to act wasn't the right manual for her. One or of two things happen. Either something crumbles, she experiences the loss of a job, a relationship, or a family member, or she experiences a more subtle erosion. She can't quite shake off the feeling that she's not living her truth, and each day it eats away at her a little more. Inevitably, after a while, the search for fulfillment, inner power, and real soul satisfying purpose takes over. It always does, and that's the cue for the priestess to make herself known. This process doesn't always feel pretty or make sense externally. Sometimes it can look like we're falling apart. Often it feels this way too. The people around us will often question us, eager to find a way to fix us, during what they perceive to be a breakdown, although we know it's a breakthrough. It's not their fault. They just don't know how to be with their own discomfort, let alone someone else's. And there are others who watch our transformation, fearfully and question who we are becoming. If they are used to us being a certain way and derive their sense of self from this, they will often feel threatened by our growth, and so they try to cling every even tighter to the old version of us. All of this is normal, and yet we must be ready for it and be willing to let go of the people and situations that no longer serve us so that we can continue our path of reclamation. We must choose the woman we are becoming over the woman we once were, no matter what. Hmm, that is so powerful. Let me tell you guys, I know 2024 just ended, but I cannot tell you how the kind of transformation that happened, I cannot explain it. If someone had told me that I was gonna let go of some same people in my life and quietly and gracefully move on, I would have said they were lying. But that happened to me in 2024. It's like I just gracefully picked myself up and had to like move on because we just are not aligning with each other. Even though the initial thought was like, oh, these people actually, even though we love them so much, we just think that, oh, we cannot do without these people. Well, guess what? I find myself doing without them now. And, you know, doing that has helped me even step more in my power because what these people were doing was dragging me down, and I'm not in that energy. I cannot be dragged down. You can either meet me up or just stay away because I'm not going to, reduce myself for anybody. Yeah. Okay, let's go. The power of the priestess client spotlight. Maria has an incredibly playful and mischievous spirit. In her younger years, she was the life and soul of the party. Her long, fiery red hair weaving its spell wherever she went. It was hard for men not to fall in love with her. But she's been trained to be good Irish Catholic and later found herself under pressure to conform. Even though deep down she knew she shouldn't get married, she did it anyway. The cracks started to appear in the relationship straight away. Her parent got involved. The in-laws got involved. Endless counseling sessions were scheduled. The social pressure she felt to make her lifeless marriage work was unbearable. But she wasn't yet able to admit it to herself. During our sessions, she slowly began to acknowledge a truth that deep down she didn't want her she didn't want her marriage to work because her soul was yearning for more. And once she'd eliminated this, within the space of a few weeks, she found the courage to leave him and move to England to take a new job doing what she loved. Our work together allowed her to realize that there are no such things as mistakes. They are stepping stones to greater clarity about who we are and what we desire. By no longer making herself wrong, she was able to follow what she felt right. And now she's living our truth and owning our power. Now, let's move to meeting your true self. The true self is the blueprint of who we are, what you desire, and what you are here to contribute to the world. You are embodying her when you feel expansive, when life feels joyful, when you feel magical, and when you are leaning into your growth edges. Living as a true self doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it's scary as hell, but it's always make you feel alive. Your true self is a version of the priestess. If it wasn't if it wasn't you never oh if it wasn't you'd never have been called to pick up this book. I tell you, I am telling you. The false self is the socialized self, the internal rules of behavior for how we as women should think, look, and behave. The conflict between the true self and the false self is what keeps us up at night. We worry if we are on the right path, if we've said the right thing, if we are with the right person, or if we're settling for what we think we should want or what we think we can get. and it takes up so much of our energy. Which is why, when we finally commit ourselves to authentic living, we free up our energy for the things that matter to us. When we finally decide to commit to our true self, we are committing to a lifetime of healing, expansion, and growth. Contrary to what we've been taught, healing isn't a process that we can tick off our to do list. It's a process that just keeps on going, bringing us to new depths and new heights. It takes a truly brave woman to commit to connecting to and honoring her true self, especially when the social pressure to be the false self is incredibly strong, which it always is. But it's the only way to live a joyful and liberated life. It is the only way to reclaim our power and reveal our divine purpose. It is the only way to live as the priestess. Most of our reclamation is about healing our trauma, and not just trauma that happened to us, but the self betrayal we inflict upon ourselves every time we ignore our inner knowing, beat ourselves up, hate on our bodies, or make a decision to please others rather than ourselves. The portal to priestesshood is to recognize that there's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. Everything you have experienced has been in response to the system of beliefs and ideals that you inherited but didn't ask for. When you understand this, you can have compassion for yourself, undo the conditioning, and become the powerful priestess you are destined or destined to be. All right, guys. Should we go another chapter before we go? Let's see. Okay, so we are going to read reclamation of the female form, and then let me see. Maybe read intuition too. Yeah? All right, we can do it. All right. Reclamation of the female form. I'm in the back of Abby's mom's car, and I've just announced to the pair of them that from now on, I'm going to eat only vegetables because I want to lose weight. I'm just 13 years old. I'm perplexed as to why Abby's mom has so much issue with it. I feel taken aback. Surely, everyone is trying to lose weight. As she gently tries to explain to me that I need a balanced diet to stay healthy, I zone out to imagine how much better my life will be when I have the perfect figure, the perfect skin, and the perfect hair. We teach our girls to be at war with their bodies before they've even begun to live. As a consequence, I have yet to meet a woman who hasn't at some point in her life thought she was fat, ugly, or needed to change something about herself. The conditioning from unrealistic beauty ideals is a lifelong process. Even today, although in many ways I now accept the way I'm physically put together, I only have to switch on Netflix or scroll on Instagram to be suddenly plunged into the spiral of comparing myself to a feminine ideal that only 4% of the female population naturally fit. More shocking still is the racial bias that exists globally, and that black women, indigenous women, and women of color are still hugely underrepresented in the media. When traveling around Asia, it shocked me to see skin lightening lotions in stores. Evidence that the system of white supremacy as well as patriarchy is very much etched into the fabric of global society. Speaking to my Filipino friends, I was horrified to learn how much they envied my white skin, believing me to be more beautiful than them because of it. And there was me lying under the sun as much as I could, desperately trying to obtain the sunscreen glow that my culture had taught me to strive for. It affects us all. Although I'm white, slim, blonde, and young in a society where those traits are celebrated, I've still been taught to disown my physical body. I'm writing this at the age of 32, and there are now subtle lines on my face in place where my skin were once smooth. I desperately want to tell you that I've embraced them, but I haven't. The fear began on my 30th birthday. Mara bought me a facial, and the beautician told me that my skin was aging too quickly. Yikes. As a consequence of this profound comment, I began fixating on my skin and arguing with my reality. I investigated different cosmetic options and I toyed with the idea of injecting all sorts of things into my face. Yet, deep down, I knew that attempting to resist the natural process of aging would be out of alignment with what I believe in. And for me, a reclamation of feminine power means fiercely defending my wrinkles. Because what is Botox? If not yet another way to hate on a woman, a patriarchal society condemns a woman's wrinkles. A man with silver hair and wrinkles look distinguished, but a woman with wrinkles, she's encouraged to inject poison into her face. How dare a woman be expressive? How dare a woman live a rich and full life? How dare it show on her face? Now we're expected to erase them and look like young girls, innocent and submissive, easy to fool and control. Yet, if we do inject fillers into our faces, we get judged for it and are encouraged to deny it. Either way, when it comes to our beauty, there's no way we can win. I am not easy to fool, so although I feel the resistance, I, for now at least, who knows later on, choose to keep my wrinkles. I desire to wear them with pride because aging is a privilege, and embracing the wisdom of age is the ultimate rebellion in a society that's desperately trying to infantilize its women. But there's more to this. When a woman st- when a woman starts to reject her wrinkles, her cellulite, her tummy rolls, the color of her skin, she starts to reject her temple. A woman's body is a temple in which miracles and magic occur. I'm not just talking about the obvious fact that women should should they wish and are able to can give birth to tiny humans. There's more to play here. In a woman who inhabits her body fully in touch with her own sensuality, her desires, her aliveness, her creativity, her intuition, in essence, she is in touch with her source of feminine power. And of course, it's not surprising that a society rooted in patriarchy finds that unnerving. And this, I believe, is why, for millennia, and unfortunately even now, women's bodies are made out to be wild, unruly, and something to control. The feel, waxing, bleaching, diets, Botox, these are all designed to control women's body. And as a result, we learn not to trust them. How could we trust something when we can feel the need to control it? But what happens when we do reclaim our trust? Once we start not only loving our body but inhabiting it fully, we reclaim our divine giving superpowers to intuit, create, and heal. All right, we are almost done, guys. Okay, intuition. For a very long time, I was extremely disconnected from my intuition, having been taught very early on in my life that logic is superior. This led me to make a lot of decisions that took me away from the truth of myself. My relationship with my ex was a prime example of this, but suppressed intuition doesn't just impact upon our love lives. It conditions our day to day decisions, such as what we eat, who we hang out with, or what we believe to be true. The quality of our lives isn't just based on our big life decisions. When we're not aligned with our inner guidance system for our day to day choices, life feels calculated, risky, and far too serious. The intuition is the subtle sense of noticing and knowing. It is the ability to understand instinctively without the need of conscious reasoning. And so much for our power as women and as priestesses lies in our intuition. These days, my personal decision making process are more aligned than ever before. I've learned the following I've learned that following my intuitions like a VIP access pass Following my intuition is like a VIP access pass to exponential healing and growth, because when we connect to our intuitive power, we are able to access the natural law of magic and co create with the intelligence of the universe. The bonus is that it gets to be fun. I enjoy my life more than ever because I'm constantly playing ping pong with the cosmos. The universe pings me an intuition knowledge, and then I ping back by taking action. We play and we create, and the opportunities and resources are required to live my highest vision always arrive bang on time, even when I doubt it. Most of us have been taught to use the logic of our mind to make decisions, but the mind is often the issue. The mind was designed to dream and vision, but is terrible decision maker. If you are trying to make a decision with the mind, it's like navigating new terrain in a blizzard without a map or a compass. Have you ever found yourself going backward and forward with a decision, driving you yourself insane in the process? That's your mind, fickle and flaky. The deep calm knowing of intuition lives in our body. Our body gives us physical responses to thoughts, emotions, and circumstances. The body can't lie in an incredibly portal to online decision making. It can make in it can take in everything about situation and give us a clear and definitive answer about what to do next. The trouble is most of us are disconnected from our body. The trauma of what it is to be a woman in today's society has made us disassociated, check out from our physical home. The unrealistic social specifications of what a woman should look like has led us to reject our bodies. The critical narrative around women's sexuality has made us feel like we are wrong to feel pleasure, and so we don't go there. I sometimes feel like this was a huge plot centuries ago to purposely shut out female intuitive power. Early Christian church, I'm looking at you, and if it wasn't, it's suddenly been a convenient byproduct that kept the patriarchy in power and the feminine in bondage. As we reclaim our feminine bodies and learn to listen to its subtle signs, our capacity for intuition increases. I felt the felt sense signature of intuition is different for each of us, but it's usually a feeling of expansion or contraction, lightness or heaviness. And the only way we get to know our intuition intimately is to commit to the process of listening. When my clients start learning to cultivate their intuition, I encourage them to focus their intuition on two things. First, I invite them to commit to a practice that allows them to cultivate a connection with their body through mindfulness. Second, I invite them to create a relationship with their felt sense throughout their daily decisions, including what they eat, where they go, and what they choose to wear. This gets to be really fun and playful. And over time, we learn to build our self trust and access our intuitive power for bigger life decisions. The power of the priestess client spotlight. The potency the potency of intuitive work changed everything for my client Mary. Mary is of Italian descent and has piercing eyes and raven like hair. She is a priestess incarnate, a doula. Our sole mission is to revolutionize how women approach pregnancy, giving birth, and motherhood. Who she first started working with me, she when she first started working with me, she shared all of this with me. But there was something holding her back. As we dug deeper, she told me she'd been married for 11 years and was happy in her relationship. My inner priestess didn't buy it. She says that Mary was living in a cage that she couldn't see. We got straight to it. With the intuition work, Mary had already done an incredibly amount of personal development, but she'd been experiencing one stumbling block that so many women face, understanding if their decisions were coming from intuition or fear. Deep down, she knew that her husband and his family were toxic for her. The red flags were there. The contraction in her belly was there. But like most of us, she was so used to making decisions using logic, she talked herself out of knowing what she knew. As she started doing this deep intuitive work, it all started to unravel, and she discovered that she could not embody the priestess. Lot, she could not embody the priestess, leave her purpose and stay in a marriage. She chose to leave her husband. It was hard, it was painful, but it was liberating. And as soon as she did, within a few weeks, our doula business took off without her even trying. This happened because she had freed herself up to follow her intuitive nudges and let the universe take care of her. Our embodiment of the priestess was so powerful and so transformative that it still gives me chills. This is the potency of leaning into our intuitive power. All right, guys. So we stopped at page 77. We will continue with is it intuition or fear and then at our next reading. And that was really, really, really interesting. That was a really good read, guys. I'm telling you. All right, so let's move to our oracle cards. First, we have never ending story here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up for you. All right, so we're here. Never ending story. Never ending story, self criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary drama. This is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self loathing and arrogance, and all manners of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, let your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as the victim. Love the lost piece of you. Love the lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Is Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part. Small and vulnerable and easily suited. Okay, so what I'm getting here is some of you might be letting like fear get to you, and this may be causing you to procrastinate, or some of you might even be feeling like victims or something. Maybe you've been rejected in some situation and you're feeling like some type of you're even feeling lonely, and your all of this situation is making you feel stuck and making you feel insecure. You are not your story. Just know that you're not your story, and you get the strength to get out of here, but also you're the only person that can get yourself out of this situation. You are not your story. Don't let this situation get the best of you in any way. And then we have blessed. See, and then we have blessed. It says something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected grace that is unforeseen gift from spirit. There are moments in life when out of the blue it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express, you know? It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for all you're blessed guide you now. All right. So yeah, what I'm getting is after all of this, after you get out of this, there's definitely, blessings coming in for you, and you'll be receiving it. And we're just gonna go to the other four cards I have here for you. So the first card I have is true manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all. Okay, true manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all. And then we have here, my ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts. These are all words of affirmation for you. And this says I can do less and attract more. So yeah, we do less and we earn more, we get more. Less work, more money, more resources. That's our prayer. We have my true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. Okay? All right. So, my dear high priestesses, um this is all I have for you guys today, and we'll definitely, continue with the next page. I feel so overwhelmed with everything I read just now. That's because like I relate with everything in that book. I I'm so overwhelmed right now. Like I really feel so overwhelmed. I hope you guys take care of yourself and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notification for the next time so you can get notified when for the next reading as well. All right, guys, take care and bye bye now.